down. You've turned my life around. The sweetest days I found with you through the years.
Since 1993, whenever Jeff Gordon showed up at Daytona in February, it was with the purpose of piloting his number 24 to victory in the Great American Race. Now it's a new chapter for him as he begins his career in broadcasting. Last Saturday was his first chance at calling a race, and we take you behind the scenes in the Fox broadcast booth.
Sorry to interrupt here. We have a developing story.
He's exhibiting the normal characteristics you'd expect from somebody who's got a lot of adrenaline. And here he is coming to a stop. Let's see what happens here. Exiting the vehicle. All right.
What's going on here, guys? I'm just on my way to work.
Yeah, we know. We just want to selfie with it.
Oh, great. Yeah, let's do it.
So a Hollywood welcome to the four-time champ to the Fox broadcast.
Thanks, Chris. I tell you what, I'm so proud to be a part of this Fox team and be here in the booth with Mike and DW. This is a race that I dreaded as a driver.
Really?
It's just wild. It's crazy. The adrenaline gets flowing, and you find yourself having every opportunity to say, why am I out here right now? So I'm in the best seat in the house.
Let's go racing, boys!
You heard Brad Keselowski talk about getting out front. He's starting on the front row. I'm looking at the back. They're three wide back there. You know that Dale Jr., Jamie McMurray, there's guys back there that do not want to stay in the back, and they're going to come to the front.
Buddy, they're three wide coming through the tri-oval right there.
That's got to be a tire issue.
Look at all that water, Jeff. A lot of wrecked race cars still running and in the garage.
I know where he's going.
We got 15 laps to go, brother.
Whoa! No, that's weird. What a great game.
Hamlin, checkered flag, wins the Sprint Unlimited.
Folks at home, that was not a video game. That was real life. Those are real cars, real drivers sliding all over the place. Wow, what a wild way to get 2016 started.
To some people, a number is just a number. Well, not to the ones who cheered it on through 4 championships, or the ones who sweat through every lap for it, and most certainly not the ones who permanently attach themselves to it, scream at the top of their lungs for it, and even decorate their homes with it. No, this isn't just a number. This is 24.
Welcome to the four-time champ to the Fox broadcast.
Thanks, Chris. I tell you what, I'm so proud to be a part of this Fox team and be here in the booth with Mike and DW. I had a great time this year, my first year at Fox. It was quite a steep learning curve, all starting at the Daytona 500, which I can't wait to get to Daytona next year now, knowing what I know. It's really been a fantastic experience, far greater than I anticipated. I love the challenge. It's one that I've really, really enjoyed getting to become a part of the Fox team and get to know the people. It's always been about teamwork for me and as a driver, and I realize just how much of a team that there is at Fox Sports as well, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Can't wait to be a part of its future. There's no way Denny Hamlin's going to be content in 4th place, not without at least putting effort into trying to make something happen. He's trying.
He wants that 4 car to help him. Here he goes.
Denny Hamlin, I felt pretty confident in the closing laps of that race that he was going to step out and get a run and get a push from behind. It was cool to be a part of seeing that happening, feel like it's going to happen, try to get just enough out there to the viewers to be watching for that.
Here they come to the line. This is the finish of the Daytona 500. Side by side, bouncing off each other.
Unbelievable. I think it was Denny Hamlin.
I have it. Denny Hamlin. Oh, my goodness.
For that to be my first big broadcast, the Daytona 500, my very first Daytona 500 in the booth, for it to come down to a photo finish was absolutely amazing, and it was hard to top that after that.
Beside me, 17 victories among these two legends of Bristol. Who better to explain whether this track is more mentally or physically demanding?
Something that I didn't anticipate is the bonding that goes on with you and your colleagues. I love it when me and DW are in a conversation and DW gets on a subject and and he has a point that he's going to make, and I can see Mike over there tapping on DW. Okay, we got to go to a break, tapping on DW, and DW just acts like he's not hearing him or not listening or doesn't feel the tap because he's going to finish that statement, and then Mike maybe throws a piece of paper up in the air, and then we all laugh about it afterward.
Well, fellas, thanks for a great season. And Jeff, what a great run as our Rookie of the Year.
Well,
boy, you're such a great addition to the Fox.
Oh, my gosh.
We've had a blast.
I've had so much fun. Thank you to everybody at Fox, and I can't wait to come back next year. I love racing so much, and I feel so connected to what the drivers are going through out there that, the transition is gone fairly well, and I love that challenge that it creates for me to continue to get better at that in the future.
News from Hendrick Motorsports that Dale Jr. is out this weekend. Hendrick Motorsports confirming Dale Earnhardt Jr. will not race this weekend at New Hampshire after experiencing concussion-like symptoms. Earnhardt was evaluated earlier today in Charlotte and was not cleared by physicians to race. Alex Bowman, who has run part-time this season for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series, will drive the 88 car this weekend. A timetable for Earnhardt's return has not been established. This from Junior. I wasn't feeling great the week going into Kentucky and thought it was possibly severe allergies. I saw a family doctor and was given medication for allergies and for a sinus infection. When that didn't help, I decided to dig a little deeper. Because of my symptoms and my history with concussions, and after my recent wrecks at Michigan and Daytona, I reached out and met with a neurological specialist. After further evaluation, they felt it was best for me to sit out. I am disappointed about missing New Hampshire this weekend. Looking forward to treatment with the goal of getting back in the race car when the doctors say I am ready.
First is there any concern that this could be career threatening or career ending for Dale? And then also, did you all talk and or will consider asking Jeff Gordon to go and get in the car?
I'm not going to speculate on Dale's future. I mean, again, the most important thing is for this process to play out for him to feel better. And at the end of all that, what's the right thing to do, that'll become clear when more knowledge is gained on how he's feeling. As far as Jeff's situation, I mean, certainly, he's a four-time champion, 93 wins. He's not a bad person to think about to put in the car. This week he's in France, so, and obviously in the way I laid out the way the week went, that wasn't even, we didn't even think we were going to need a replacement driver. We just thought we were needing a backup driver. However, if Dale is not able to go in Indianapolis, we will put Jeff Gordon in the car.
For sure.
That's for sure.
Okay.
If Dale's not ready.
Hendrick Motorsports has announced that Jeff Gordon will indeed replace Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 car for the next two Sprint Cup races, Sunday's Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis and the July 31st race at Pocono. Jr. continuing to recover from concussion-like symptoms that forced him out of last weekend's race at New Hampshire. He underwent further evaluation Tuesday at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center's Sports Medicine Concussion Program, and NHMS says that Earnhardt will not travel to either Indy or to Pocono. So
Race Day at Indianapolis. Those words bring anticipation and conjure up vivid memories. Like that day 22 years ago when a kid whose racing roots were sown just up the road from here took that first brickyard.
Jeff Gordon is about to write his name in the racing history books. Winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
From that milestone win, he took the sport to new heights.
This guy is a champion, and today he joins the ranks of the legends.
He said goodbye last fall, but fate had other plans. Fellow champion Tony Stewart grew up in Columbus, Indiana. He too dreamed of winning at Indy, and it came true.
Tony Stewart, a native Hoosier, his dream comes true. You are the man! Woo!
Now he's ready for his final ride at a place he holds so dear. For more than 2 decades, these two champions have fueled the legend of their home track. Today, they both get one more chance for an encore in the Brickyard 400.
Inside the car, and that's just tooling around right now at pace car speed. Today's starting grid is brought to you by Golden Corral. Up front, Kyle Busch won the pole once again. The Las Vegas native, the defending Brickyard 400 winner, will start next to Carl Edwards.
Start right behind him in row 2, the 2-time Brickyard 400 winner, Tony Stewart. Starting next to this year's Daytona 500 winner, Denny Hamlin.
And in row 3, we have Team Penske's own driver, Brad Keselowski, starting next to South Bend, Indiana's own Ryan Newman.
Back in row 4, it's Kevin Harvick. He was the 2003 Brickyard 400 winner.
Row 5, Jamie McMurray, 2010 Brickyard 400 winner, starting next to Kyle Larson.
In row 6, we have Kurt Busch. He was actually the 2014 Indy 500 Rookie of the Race.
Back in row 7, it's Joey Logano and Jimmy Johnson. Johnson has won 4 times here in the Brickyard.
Chase Elliott, whose dad Bill won here in 2002, starting next to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in row 8.
We have Ryan Blaney starting next to Matt Kenseth in row 9. Matt Kenseth is a 2-time runner-up in the Brickyard 400.
Back in row 10, it's Vancouver, Washington's Greg Biffle next to Trevor Bayne out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Row 11, 5-time Brickyard 400 winner Jeff Gordon, starting next to Chris Buescher.
Row 12 has the 2011 Brickyard 400 winner Paul Menard, starting next to the first woman to ever lead the Indianapolis 500, Danica Patrick.
In row 13, A.J. Allmendinger and Casey Kane. Casey actually a runner-up in the 2005 Brickyard.
Row 14, we have Michael McDowell, who's in his 7th Brickyard 400 start, and David Reagan.
Row 15, we have Eric Almirola and Matt DiBenedetto, who's actually doing double duty this weekend.
Back in row 16, it's Clint Boyer and Brian Scott. Brian Scott out of Boise, Idaho.
Row 17, Landon Castle and Casey Mears, whose Uncle Rick won the Indy 500 4 times.
Row 18, we have Cole Witt and Ryan Ellis. Ryan Ellis making his first ever start here at the Brickyard.
Back in row 19, it's Regan Smith and Michael Annett, who'll be making his 2nd Brickyard start today.
Row 20, we have Reed Sorensen, his 5th Brickyard 400, starting next to Patrick Carpentier.
We're going to ride along with a few different drivers. But as Mike just mentioned, strategy could come into play early in this race.
Strategy, I believe, will come into play early, Rick, and often. It's going to be very confusing to try to follow because there's a lot of different ways to run this race. And as we see how narrow this track can be, if you're not in the 1st or 2nd row, the crew chiefs have to get creative to give their team and their driver the best opportunity at the end of 160 laps.
Starting back at 21st is the 88 of Jeff Gordon, driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Just moments ago. This is what they had to say on the radio.
You know, Dale was thinking of you. I'm glad you're making some progress this week. I appreciate your patience and, you know, hope for a speedy recovery, but on your time frame. Jeff, thanks for filling in for the next 2 weeks. I appreciate all you have done Friday and Saturday, and, you know, looking forward to what we can do today.
And all of you now know, obviously, that Dale Earnhardt Jr. can listen into the radio. He can listen into the communication, just like all the fans can. They can listen into the communication between drivers. Most wins at Indianapolis, presented by Sprint. Jeff Gordon holds that honor with 5 Brickyard 400 wins. Sprint's network reliability is now within 1% of Verizon. Switch today and save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. Visit a Sprint store or sprint.com/network today. Mike.
Well, Rick, keep in mind, for Jeff Gordon, this is the first time he's ever driven a Sprint Cup Series car that's not numbered 24. So the team made sure that he was aware of where to stop on pit road.
That big bright for us at 88. Yeah, once I get in the rhythm with that, we should be good, but first couple times definitely remind me of that 88, son. 10-4, I will.
And adding to the degree of difficulty, Jeff will actually have to go by the 24 pit stall. It's actually 2 stalls before the 88 pit stall, so he'll see that sign first.
Nobody would ever miss their pit stall, would they, Jeff?
Well, you know, I would tell you that when I drove the 99 car forever, and the first time I drove the 31 car, I pulled into the 31 pit. So it is, and I think the point about the 24 just being 2 boxes away, I'm sorry, the 24 box being 2 boxes away, he's going to see that. He's going to see that number, and his first instinct is going to be, you know, to go to that box. So the good thing is they've talked about it. So the spotter knows it, he knows it. Now there should be a tremendous amount of communication to prevent that problem from happening.
Rick, it always amazes me when we talk about strategy and how to be aggressive.
You said, Chase Elliott, he just lost all that momentum by being side by side. Again, here we see it again. You got to find a way to get singled up.
Well, now Jeff Gordon's going to think, I'm going to get Chase Elliott here and the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that bright orange Sunny D machine.
Imagine the feeling right now. Jeff Gordon just went by the 24 car. Not sure he could say he's done that too many times in his career.
Building free, 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment for the 48, Dave.
And for Kevin Harvick, going the right way this afternoon. The car pretty balanced, but just a little bit tight across the center of the corner. They'll make a 4 tire and fuel change, Mike. Greg Ives coaching Jeff Gordon into his box, telling him to look for the 88 sign. He hit the box perfectly. A 4 tire change, a wedge adjustment. Sunoco race fuel for Jeff Gordon as they complete the stop, and he's away.
Of the risk that Todd Gordon took, leaving him on the racetrack. He knows he has to give it his all on all these restarts. As we see Jeff Gordon here under attack by the 95 of Michael McDowell.
And this is the thing that is so difficult, you know, coming back after being out of the race car for a long time, finding a way to get these restarts right. Restarts are so difficult. If you're in the car every week, they're difficult, but being out of the car, then having to get back in the rhythm, get aggressive right off the bat. We've seen Jeff Gordon lose spots on this restart. It's the hardest part of racing, in my opinion, especially you add on the fact of not being in that race car. It's very, very difficult.
Jeff Gordon was about to go a lap down before the caution came out. The caution came out, and the 10 of Danica Patrick got the free pass. That's why the 2 are running nose to tail right now. There were 7 wave rounds, as you mentioned. The 18 of Kyle Busch had a very good one, and Carl Edwards not as good. So the gap now has separated about 5 seconds from what they were running. Carl Edwards was quite a bit closer to Kyle Busch before the stops.
Yeah, do that stops. The big winner in all these stops, if you're riding along with him right now, Jeff Gordon, you know, he was back there in about 20th, 22nd, 18th in that range, and through these stops by coming on pit road a little bit early, getting fresher tires before some of those guys, he's worked himself up to 12th right now.
Yeah, and he feels pretty good about the race car, about the best he's felt all day long, Jeff. Has had trouble in the corners, a bit tight, can't get back to the throttle the way he would like. Made an air pressure adjustment there. It seems to have helped the balance of the race car a little bit. One thing I wanted to point out that may have gotten overshadowed in this weekend, Jeff Gordon, while he has been asked several times about what this means for his legacy coming out of retirement, he's downplayed that dramatically, saying, look, it's not about that. It's very much about Dale Earnhardt Jr. We're thinking about him. And in fact, you can see that on the race car. On the windshield, over the driver's seat, that's where it says Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s name. In fact, even in the garage area in practice, originally it had Jeff Gordon's name there. The team has to have that taken down and Dale Jr.'s name put back up. Artie?
Well, Mike, we just talked about Carl Edwards having a bit of a slower stop than his teammate.
Down the backstretch already. Has almost a second advantage over Carl Edwards. Martin Truex Jr. is third. Harvick and Kenseth the top 5. There's Chase Elliott. Young rookie in the 24 car. Taking over for the retired Jeff Gordon, who unretired to sub for Dale Earnhardt Jr. for this race.
In Rick, Kyle Busch,
26-year-old out of Welcome, North Carolina. Still trying to hang on to that top 10 position as he's running 9th. Mike?
Just an update on Jeff Gordon. This team has worked on the car throughout the course of the afternoon. Jeff has said caution is out on the racetrack. We'll get back to that in a moment, Rick.
Yeah, caution comes out, and it looks as though it's going to be debris on the racetrack that brings the caution out, so we'll see another restart. You notice the left rear quarter panel flared out a little bit there. The debris is high in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Is what. Not a good restart for Martin Truex Jr. He falls back all the way to 4th. And around goes the 19. Carl Edwards hard into the wall. 31 also around. The 12 with the 2 of Brad Keselowski connected. Danica Patrick in the 10 also involved.
4 back for 43.
Ryan Blaney, I believe the 21, may have been caught up.
Hard hit. And also, you know, about the 4 right behind the 19. Remember, when you get that close to another car, you're pulling the air off of that car. So you're taking a lot of downforce away from that car. You have a car on the outside of you, a car underneath, in front of you. All those things make your car very, very difficult to drive. And he already had trouble on the restart before. He said his car did not turn well at all. You take the aerodynamics away from the car, the downforce, and it drives worse. Watch the 4 car here.
Yeah, we're on board with the 4 car. You're going to see.
Watch them here. 2 and the 2 wide. 2 wide, 2 by 2. 2 outside, tight.
The 19 just comes up the racetrack. You hear the throttle control. Kevin Harvick does a nice job not running into him. You see up in the right-hand corner.
In the first 120 laps, 4 cautions since then. This one collecting 4 cars.
You know, turn the fan off, don't use it. They told me that and always did anyway. I just lied and told them off. But it gets so hot without air going in the helmet.
The other big story of the day was Jeff Gordon coming back to fill in for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Mike, what's happening with his day?
Rick, one of the many things he's had to adjust to this weekend is a brand new spotter. Throughout the recent years, he's used Eddie DeHaan. Today, though, he's using Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s spotter. That would be TJ Majors. Majors caught his attention, though, back in Daytona for the Daytona 500 in February. While Jeff was doing some TV work, he noticed how he spotted for Dale Jr., complimented him. I spoke with Majors today. He said he was blown away by that, and even more blown away when Jeff called him last week to talk about spotting for this race. It's come full circle today, because in that particular wreck, TJ Majors was the guy who helped navigate Jeff Gordon through the accident without any damage.
Skittles, Mars, everybody back there at Mars, we just want to thank you so much. This is just a great deal for us.
You've just seen so much, sorry Coach, conditioning be so important. How impressed are you that Kyle outlasted him that way too?
Well, I think for everybody out there it was hard on them. So I think these guys, though, are in good condition to drive these cars like this. You got to admire them, so the whole field. So we appreciate being here. All the fans at Indy, we love coming to Indy. The Lord's blessed us with a great day.
Big day for Joe Gibbs Racing, and now Kyle. It's like a little extra time, a little overtime himself there, Rick.
Yeah, and how about this? What a great moment. The 14 and the 88 taking a final lap around Indianapolis Motor Speedway together. Tony Stewart in his final season. Jeff Gordon coming out of retirement to substitute drive for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And recognizing the fans here in Indianapolis who have been so good to both these drivers.
Yeah, I think recognizing the fans, but also recognizing each other. There's a lot of respect between these two race car drivers. They both know and recognize the ability of the other and the effort that they both put into their careers. And you can see, you just think about this a little while ago. They thought about this a couple days ago, I would imagine.
The championships.
Back at my stats of what I was able to accomplish, and I remember how difficult those wins were, how difficult those poles were. I can't get my brain around sweeping a weekend. This performance by Kyle Busch, it truly is legendary. When you talk about Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon and what they've accomplished in their careers, Kyle Busch is starting to write a resume that compares with major names like those two.
Yeah, the greats. The only thing that's not on the resume right now is multiple championships, but he's well on his way to potentially his second championship and defending the title that he won a year ago. Two legends. Tony Stewart getting the embrace from Jeff Gordon. Again, Tony Stewart's final Brickyard 400. Let's hear from him. Kelly.
And obviously a lot of media attention and fanfare surrounding Tony. your final Brickyard 400. You got to share that hug and some moments on track with Jeff Gordon. What did it mean to have that with Jeff?
That's cool. I mean, it's you know, I knew when we got the checkered, I mean, you just didn't want to come in quite yet, and I wanted to run one more lap, and Jeff was around us, and before that last green run, and told my spotter to go get his spotter, and said, after this thing's over, we need to go a lap around here together, because it most likely is the last time we'll both get a chance to do that. So I couldn't think of a better guy to share that moment with than Jeff.
A year ago, when you raced here at the Brickyard, we all thought that was your last hurrah here. Today probably was. What was it like to say goodbye to this facility?
Better than last year. Didn't go very well, and it was a fight. Wow. You know, the challenge is to be out there against the best, especially on those restarts. I got my butt kicked on restarts today. It was embarrassing. While I was filling in for Dale Jr., and I hope he's doing good, I needed a fill-in on restarts. It was pretty bad, but you know, other than that, I thought it went really well. I really liked working with Greg and this whole 88 team. Took us a little while to get the balance right, track, and adjustments came to us. He made an awesome pit call to come in early one time, and he called it right as I was going into turn 4, and that made a lot of spots up for us because we had a fast race car. We just couldn't get the track position. Pretty tough to pass, and I didn't want to see those cautions there at the end, but I don't know. I'm going to need some practice on restarts for Pocono anyway. So we finally actually there on that last one got the car where it's decent on the outside. It was so loose on the outside before that. And I made up a bunch of spots off of 4. But, I mean, on one hand, I'm relieved that this is over. On the other hand, I would have liked it to go on a little bit better and looking forward to Pocono. And thank you to Tony Stewart. What a class act he is. It meant a lot to me that he invited me to come make that last lap with him.
Yeah, a special moment. What was that like?
Well, Tony and I have gone through a lot over the years, but he and I have become really good friends. I was with him when he got hurt, you know, this year, and to see what he's done, how tough he is as a competitor. I've always known what a great guy and a great race car driver he is, but now I know more about who Tony Stewart really is, and I'm just so proud that I was able to be here and race with him in his final race. Maybe, I don't know. I thought this was going to be last year was going to be my final race, so you never know, Tony Stewart, but that meant a lot to me to be able to stand up in front of the drivers' meeting, recognize him, and then do that pace lap here today at the end.
What about you? Is next week your final race?
Whew. If it's this hot, I hope so. You know, my thing is I can't wait to talk to Dale Jr., debrief him on how today went, and see how he's doing. I want him in the car as soon as possible. I'm too old to be doing this stuff, but you know, to come here, do this race, finish 13th, and decent. I think I can do better next week for him, and then we'll just go from there.
We look forward to Pocono. Great to see you back in the track.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I was glad I was in the Exalted Chevrolet. That was a lot of fun. Thank Rick for calling me in France.
And Jeff held up pretty good considering it was over 110 degrees in that race car.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And again, Dale Earnhardt Jr. tweeting earlier today. We saw him tweet earlier this week saying that he's seeing improvement, getting better. That's exactly what everyone with Team Hendrick and everybody in racing wants to see. Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting better, but it has been announced that Jeff Gordon will once again drive for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in Pocono next week. But really, what an incredible moment that we just all witnessed to be a part of. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, final time at the Brickyard.
Yeah, I think, listen, they know what the Brickyard means. It's such a huge part of worldwide motorsports history, the heritage of it. To have the opportunity to even compete here as stock car guys, you never thought you would have it. And so to have that opportunity, you know, Tony ran the Indy 500. They both won the Brickyard 400 multiple times. Just, it's a really special place, and this shows you how much they appreciate it.
There was all these questions coming in. How would Jeff Gordon do being out of a race car for so long? He came home in 13th. I know he obviously wanted more, but think about someone whose career spanned decades to come out of retirement, and Tony Stewart to put the emotion of the situation not behind him, but just in check and race all day long. He mentioned it, put themselves behind with a speeding penalty, recovered, didn't give up to fight back to an 11th place. I think where they finished doesn't matter as much as how they raced, and that's two great competitors we saw right there.
Great performances out of both. Let's take a look at the
Will everyone be chasing Jeff Gordon again? A 6-time winner at Pocono. And the big question, Will Pocono be his last race? After retiring a year ago, he's been called back to duty. Mobile One as the cars begin to roll. We look at the front row. Martin Truex Jr. and Carl Edwards. Martin, a 36-year-old out of Mayetta, New Jersey. He won at Pocono back in June of 2015. This is the same car from Charlotte where he dominated earlier this year.
Yeah, row 2, we have Paul Menard, who has a new crew chief this weekend, starting next to 4-time Pocono winner, Denny Hamlin.
2 Indiana natives make up row 3, Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart, both Pocono winners in their career.
Back in row 4, Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott, 20-year-old out of Dawsonville, Georgia. Led 51 laps here in June when he finished 4th.
Yeah, row 5 is full of another 2 drivers that have wins at Pocono, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano.
2 young stars make up row 6, both looking for their first ever Sprint Cup win.
Back in row 7, it's A.J. Allmendinger and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They are 22nd and 21st, respectively, in the chase standings.
Yeah, row 8, you see Kurt Busch qualified 15th. He's going to have to go to the back, starting next to his brother Kyle Busch.
Row 9, we have maybe the favorite from practice, Kevin Harvick, starting next to rookie Ryan Blaney.
Back in row 10, it's Jamie McMurray and Casey Mears. Jamie out of Joplin, Missouri. He has top 10s in 3 of the last 5 Pocono races.
Row 11, Jimmy Johnson, a 3-time winner here, starting next to Chris Buescher.
2 Hendrick Motorsports teammates make up row 12, 2-time winner Casey Kane and 6-time Pocono winner Jeff Gordon.
Continue through the starting grid, but while we're watching that, let's see if we can chat with Kurt Busch, who will have to go to the back because of unapproved body adjustments, so he will start in the back of the field. Let's see if we can chat with him.
Hey Kurt, Jeff Burton in the NBCSN booth, you with us?
Hey, Jeff Burton, I got you.
All right, bud, I know not the way you want the day to start. You're going to have to start at the back of the field. Tell us how much more difficult that makes your day.
Well, when the crew chief's calling at 8 a.m. to give you news, it's usually not good. So, all good. You know, let's work away from the back. We got this competition yellow, lap 15. Got to check the tires, make sure everything's good. But we won here last time on a Monday, and I got a really great team with the Monster Energy Chevy and Haas Automation and everybody at SHR.
I can tell. Well, you know who will be the one to tell first. That's going into turn 1 at 200 miles an hour. That'll be Chase Elliott. It'll be a big first lap for these drivers. Parker?
I spoke to Greg Ives, the crew chief of the 88, working for the second week in a row with Jeff Gordon. I asked him about the weekend in Hull. He said, hey, it's been a little bit of a struggle, more than we'd like. Why? Not because Jeff Gordon, a 6-time winner here, needs to figure out the track. It was to figure out the spring setup they had in this car. Very different than what they had last year. They were trying to make the car get acclimated to him. Dale Earnhardt, I asked him about speaking to Dale Earnhardt Jr. He said, hey, I spoke to him for an hour on Friday, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. tweeted yesterday he's hoping this team has a fun and successful day. Marty?
Parker, Kevin Harvick will be...
Wins at Pocono, presented by Sprint. Jeff Gordon has that honor of being able to say once again he has the most wins at a racetrack, 6 here at Pocono. Sprint's network reliability is now within 1% of Verizon's, which today saved 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. Visit a Sprint store or sprint.com/network today. Parker?
Well, Jeff Gordon, who started 88 of Jeff Gordon, just coming on the pit road here. They're expecting 4 tires and an adjustment, still fighting that tight off the corner, not allowing him to get back to the throttle the way he wants off of turn 1 and turn 3. You see that 4-tire adjustment, both adjustments in the right rear and the left rear. Big adjustments there on the 88.
Big adjustment, slow stop, over 15 seconds. And you look for Joey Logano in that yellow 22 as Jeff will go out on the track. Logano already passed him. Mike.
Last time down pit road, Carl Edwards was one of the few cars that took 4 tires. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what they do here. A wedge adjustment and 4 tires again. He's been a little bit loose in and tight in the middle of 1 and 2.
And a penalty for the 88 of Jeff Gordon. Too fast entering pit road.
We talked about it before the race started. All of these pit zones, these speed zones are so close together. Mike?
And this is the easiest pit stop the 48 has made.
And a great restart for Kyle Busch. He shoots out of the restart zone, trying to clear the 42 as they go down the front stretch. Larson back out front as they get to 1.
88. And Jeff Gordon on the bottom of the racetrack had some sort of problem. You see the 11 car way up the racetrack.
Trevor Bayne in the 6, just in front of the 47. Parker.
Seems the 88 you saw get slow there. He came over the radio and said his seat belts are undone right now. Expect the 88 to maybe come down pit road and try to get those back on or run slowly. Something's amiss with his seat belt, and that's never comforting for a driver.
Yeah, that's horrible. Depending on the latching system that he has, quite possibly when he was warming his tires up, his glove could have gotten caught in it. He could have hit something. So it looks like everything's hooked right here. I'm not so sure what happened.
He's trying to tighten them as he's driving. You see his left hand going down there to try to tighten his belts. Take a look at the 88 falling back quickly on that inside.
It's so difficult to say. I say it looked like they were hooked up. Certainly the shoulder belts were hooked up, but you can't see the lap belts. Oh, it is unhooked. It is unhooked. Yeah.
So he'll have to come to pit road, and the crew will have to actually help him put that back together.
Oh, I think he's got it hooked back up.
You got it?
I think he got it. Now he's got it. Now he can tighten it up. So, yeah, we had a replay. Now he's caught back up. So that was a replay from earlier. So he reached down there. And remember, you can't see. That's a very, very small slit that you slide this piece in. You cannot see it. I mean, you have to just feel it. So he did a really good job of getting that hooked up. You have to loosen the belt up, get it hooked up, and then tighten it back up.
And he was supposed to be on vacation. Jeff Gordon filling in for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Gordon, it's been a crazy day for you, Jeff. You had actually a seatbelt malfunction there where it came undone. On a restart, you had to drop the back and got it clipped, but then you had to come down pit road once again and hopefully get it fully fixed. What happened?
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever had that happen with this, type of mechanism where you just plug it in and it latches. I've had it happen under the old system with the old, kind of buckle, and I was actually at Sonoma one time leading the race and went right off the next corner when it happened, but I was able to get that one latched. This one I thought I had it latched because it happened actually leaving pit road one time, and I got it latched, lost some time, and then we had, we were in a pretty good position on the restart and went to take off. As soon as I went to second to third, just that little bit of side movement just pulled it out. So it would go in and sort of latch, but when you wiggled it left to right, it would pop right out. So I don't know if there's something lodged in there or what happened or why it took so long for that to play out. But I knew I couldn't go down to turn one on these crazy restarts without a right side seatbelt. So came in under that stop. We worked on it. Boom, and now it's good. I have no clue. It's unfortunate. 88 Nationwide Chevrolet is pretty good. I mean, we just need track position. We finally got it, and been having some decent restarts, and things are going good. I hate that happened.
Well, Jeff Gordon's definitely looking and hoping we get this race restarted, Rick.
Yeah, and we were just focusing a little bit more on that, where Jeff was moving the wheel. It looks like he was cleaning the tires, maybe heating them up a little bit, and it looked as though maybe his hand was down there by the seat belt when that came free.
It's possible. It doesn't take a lot of movement to release the belts. You definitely see him. He's scrubbing the tires. It hasn't released yet. It's still hooked up. But as he moves the wheel.
And this is the area we're discussing right there. The latch of the seatbelt is basically right in the driver's lap where all the different seatbelts come
right there. It just popped off.
And it makes me wonder if somehow the wheel is a little lower than it needed to be, and maybe that wheel touched the mechanism. That mechanism operates, if you can imagine, it moves almost like a clock, and and it's at the 6 o'clock position, and that mechanism moves from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and you can release it by moving it either way. And so if the steering wheel touches it, it rotates that mechanism, and that's what will release it. I couldn't tell from that shot if it hit it or not, but it's hard to imagine with him turning the wheel and it happening at that same time that didn't have something to do with it.
We're still under a red flag condition as the fog has brought all the cars onto pit road and the drivers are now out of their cars. Let's go down to Marty.
I can tell you there were a lot of drivers watching that replay of Jeff Gordon losing his seatbelt there and going, wow, I hope that doesn't happen to me. That's kind of a scary sight, isn't it, for a driver, Kevin Harvick?
Yeah, you definitely don't want that to happen. That's worst case scenario. So it's pretty lucky that he got it put back in there. So, and lucky that he just didn't have something happen. So that's definitely not a good situation at all.